Hey, we're back from math again. So we're going to continue today with more on learning about factors. Two of the easiest factors to learn are the zeros and the ones. Super easy. We're not even going to talk to Bob about this. We're going straight over to the board. Here we go.
All right, so before we get into the book, I wanted to go on this blank page here and just look at zeros and ones. Remember that multiplication is joining equal groups together. So if you're multiplying something times 1, let's say you're going to do 5 times 1, or 5 groups of 1. What that means is you've got 5 groups, and you've got 1 in each group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Let's say our problem is, let's do 8 times 1. Well, again, you have 8 groups, and you have 1 in each group, which is just 8. Okay? Let's flip it around. Commutative property. Now we're going to say we got 1 group of 5. Well, that means there's 1 group, and there's 5 things in it. That's 5. So with the number 1, if you are multiplying times 1, if 1 is a factor in the problem, the answer is always going to be the other factor. We actually call 1 the identity property. It has a special name, the identity property of 1 in multiplication, which says anytime you multiply with 1, you get the other factor as an answer. Because think of what it means. Multiply means groups of, or joining equal groups. So if you have 1 group of 10, you have 10. If you have 100 times 1, that means you have 100 groups, and there's 1 in each group, so you only have 100. Ones are so easy. But easier than ones is 0. Because think of this. If I say 8 times 0, that means I have 8 groups, and there's nothing in any of them. So how much do I have? I have none, right? I've got all these groups, but there's nothing in my groups. Let's flip that around, commutative property. What if I got 0 groups of 8? Well, there's my picture. I have no groups. I don't know how that works out, but I know since I have no groups, I don't have anything. Okay, that is called the 0 property of multiplication. And what the 0 property says is anything times 0 is 0. So remember the identity property, when you multiply times 1, you're going to get the other factor. You don't get 1 unless you're multiplying times 1, 1 times 1. But anytime you multiply by 0, you're going to get 0. Let's jump over here to the Do You Understand page. Do you understand? Okay, so draw a number line to show 8 groups of 1. I don't know that we need to do that, but we'll try it out anyway. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 groups of 1 would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Whoops. Forgot to put 0. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Your answer is 8. Chad has 6 plates and there's 1 apple and 0 grapes on each plate. How many apples are there? So that'd be 6 groups of 1, which we know is 6. And there's no grapes, so that's 6 groups of none. Anything times 0 is 0. 0 property. Over here, find each product. 3 groups with 1 in each group is 3. 3 groups with nothing in the groups is 0. 1 group of 7 is 7. 5 groups of 0 is 0. 4 groups of 0 is 0. And 2 groups of 1 is still just 2. 0 and 1, very simple. 0. Anytime you multiply times 0, you get 0. Anytime you multiply times 1, that's the identity property. That means that that number shows its own identity, who it is. So if I had 8 times 1, 8's going to come out and say, that's me. And it's going to be the other factor every time. Zeros and ones, easy stuff.